Hello, Lynn Watts here with Wyatt the Wonder Dog Books. And today I'm going to talk about the importance of attending conferences for school counselors. And in particular, what you can do to really maximize your attendance at a school conference. And it might be the National School Conference, the ASCA conference, which I have attended before. That usually happens in the summer. It might be a state conference, or it might be some local conference that your school district even puts on. So it could be big, could be small, but I think there's some general things that you can do to make the very most of that time. The first thing I think I want to talk about, though, is why it's important to go to conferences. And I know that it is so easy to get so involved in all of the things that are going on in your own school, and that your time is so valuable. And a lot of times we feel like we just cannot leave. There's something big coming up, there's students that we're looking after, whatever you're most involved in. And it may be that it is very, very hard for you personally to take the time to get away. I think it's still important, though. It may be that it's not you. You would like to go to the conference, but maybe your administration, your school district is not very supportive of you going away to conferences. And what can you do about that? Well, one of the things that I think you can do is you can get very firm, very knowledgeable about what the value is and what the benefits are, and then be able to present those in a good way. So I'm going to link to a blog post that I have about this, but let me just quickly run through some of the reasons that conferences can be very valuable. And then, of course, you want to personalize these things. So attending a conference can mean that you're learning new strategies and new interventions. And so, in particular, if you're challenged in some special areas of your school or whatever, then one thing that you can promote in terms of going to a conference is that I can learn some new techniques or some strategies. You can also update your resources. You can get new tools. You can get fresh ideas for problems that you're encountering at your school. Really important, I think, one of the best things is networking with other counselors. And so it helps to feel that you have a community, that you're not alone just with you, or perhaps there's one other counselor in your school, but that there is a network that you can rely on and support each other. It certainly helps with burnout because you get inspired by attending conferences. It can strengthen your own leadership skills. There's almost always some opportunity to take on additional leadership skills, or to teach a conference, to share what you know at a conference. And I'd encourage you to take advantage of that, because a lot of times we learn most by teaching others. That's been true for me. And you can certainly stay current with what the best practices are. So those are all ways I think that you can promote the value. You can know the value, but you can also promote the value if you need to. Let me talk about 5 different things kind of quickly that you need to do, though, to maximize your participation at a school conference. And the first thing is to start with a positive mindset. If you go into it thinking, I've heard all this before, or this isn't going to be useful, or I'm too busy for this, then you're definitely going to find that to be true. Self-fulfilling prophecy, right? But if you go in with, I'm open to learning, I'm here to get some new ideas, then you're probably going to do that. So positive mindset helps. It's also important not to just participate, or not just to attend, but to participate. How can you participate? Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to teach a workshop or a training, although you might. That's a great way to meet other people and to share your knowledge, and also to gain knowledge. But to get the most value, make sure you take some notes, that you look at it as a learning experience and something that you can learn from. Ask questions, join in opportunities for discussion. There's always some sort of open forum where you can get involved and do that. Be sure and visit the vendor booths. And don't just do that. Let me say this, don't just do that to walk through and get the candy or the freebies or whatever, but actually take the time to check in with the different vendors and find out if there's something there that you could actually use. And then attend breakout sessions that are outside of your comfort zone. So rather than going to things that you already know a lot about, look for things that maybe are going to push you a little bit to learn something new. So participate, don't just attend. The third thing is to use it as a time to connect, to make connections with other counselors or other professionals in the area. So don't just go with your best friend who also, works at your school or in your school district or whatever and hang out with them. Rather take the time to meet people from other areas, from other schools, exchange contact information. How can I stay in touch with you? How can we work together or learn something more from each other? Join in group discussions. Ask others what programs they're doing in their own school, and then share your own successful counseling strategies. So you can do this individually in a group, or you can teach a workshop on it. I think these conferences are always looking for somebody that can present something. The fourth thing is to be present. And in order to do that, you need to, as much as possible, limit any of the distractions that we all face every day in our lives. So you want to turn off your phone while you're there, or at least limited the use of your phone, certainly during sessions, but even in between sessions. Avoid constant email checking back in with your school. Now, if you've got some situation that, they cannot live without your input on, certainly you need to be available for that. But as much as possible, make this a time that you're away from that. Focus on the speaker and reflect on how the ideas that you are learning are going to affect your students. So giving yourself permission to step away from your duties at school, hopefully your administration is going to support this, is going to help you get the most out of the conference. And then the last thing is to expect success. You want to challenge yourself to find one new idea that you can use at your school. Learn a better way to do a classroom lesson, or to improve your individual counseling or group counseling. Look for resources that save hours and hours of planning for you. Meet a counselor who can become a future collaborator with you. And then you will find that you return to school energized. So I want to just expand on one of the things that I just mentioned, and that is to find time-saving things that will help you, and that will at your school, and that will certainly help you not only be more productive, but also it will help with burnout, a topic that I'm very interested in and been doing a number of videos on. And so let me just share a couple of things that I have put together that can save you a ton of time in terms of preparation. One of them is a small group guide. So as you can see, it's 8 ready-to-go lessons. They're all aligned with ASCA standards. There's an icebreaker in them. There's an activity in them. There's even a journal that you can use with students. And journaling can be a very effective way to interact with students. So I'd certainly encourage you to look into the small group guide. In addition to that, I have a number of whole lesson plan books, but one of the best, especially if you're new in school counseling, is the Elementary School Counselor's Book of Lesson Plans, Volume 2, which is really pretty new. It's only maybe a year old. So it's very current in terms of lesson plans. It includes a calendar for the whole year. So it includes recommendations for lessons, when you might teach them. For instance, most of us do something on introducing the counselor and friendship early on in the year. So there are lessons on that. Again, they're all ASCA aligned. They have activities across the grade levels. So they're something you can do with a kindergartner on friendship, something you can do with a 5th grader on friendship. And then there are ways to assess how effective your lesson is as well. So each one of the lesson plans has that available to you, and they're on lots of different topics. So something like this can save you lots of time in terms of even putting a lesson together, deciding what to present. There are worksheets that you can, just grab and go. And so all of it is put together, in one book for you. So I would certainly recommend something like that to help you save time and to put together an opportunity where you have time to do other things that you are specialized and trained in doing, and not spend so much time putting together a lesson, but you can just grab it and go. So those are two ideas. I have lots more if you want to visit my website, whyatthewonderdog.com. And as always, I want to encourage you in all the wonderful things that you're doing for children. And thanks for listening.